Shalom and good day all, this is Healing29 back again for an indie comic review, and in this indie comic review I am covering the Rocketfellers issue 5, and as you can see here I have the main plus the variants. So starting off with first things first, do these covers in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? With the first cover it sort of does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. For the second cover, I like the way how they've actually done this cover, to which I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Does it fully connect to the story? Not so much. But I do like how it's set up and prepared. And last but not least, an 8 out of 10 for cover 3. I'll now get things ready and organized as we start to move towards the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, but also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So, as the Rockefellers begin their day, the youngest of the family, Rachel, ends up having a bit of an accident and a fall. But what they don't realize that on this day is that the enemy that is looking for them is going to be searching house to house plus other locations to see if they can actually find them. So I guess today for them is a bit of a happy accident that these events occurred. As we start to jump towards the middle of the story, we realize that Rex is now going up against the villain that is actually searching for him. And with it, they sort of they don't know if the dog is connected to the family or not at this time. Of course, a little bit later on, the family do return home. And of course, Rex is a good boy. Last but not least, after they do return home, we see someone who is working on a bit of a project. And somehow this project has a bit of a connection to what is connected to happening in the future, in the 25th century. And the villain involved there. And let's not forget, in each of the issues so far, we are getting a bit of a profile around the characters that appear within the story, which I think is really good. And we learn a little bit more about each of the characters. So, as this was a bit of a fast-paced story and how the art was done, I gave the art an 8.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. First things first is the area of time. Of course, things taking place in the 21st century. And of course, the 25th century, from where the Rockefellers originally came from, and what's happening there. The locations, we got to see the Rockefellers' home, of course the hospital, and we also got to see the something happening in the Baltic Sea. Of course, in the area of the cast of characters, we had the Rockefellers family. We had something happen to Rachel. We also learned that the Rockefellers might actually be using an alias where they are. And the name Tony actually came up in that. So it's done in a way to hide their identity. And of course we had Rex. And we also had the name of a bird, which Rachel is looking after, and we learned that the bird's name is called Rosie. For the overall story rating, I give it an 8 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.